Okay, so while Trump was cracking Pearl Harbor jokes to Japan's face, his own MAGA supporters are starting to walk away from him. Let me show you what happened when the orange guy met with the Prime Minister of Japan.
Too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? He's asking me, don't you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us.
You know, there's just some things that you don't joke about. And with the orange guy, I'm actually surprised that he didn't joke about the little boy dropping on Hiroshima. But many of us around the world have come to expect this from the orange guy. I mean, it's just another, what day was it? Thursday. But lately, we're seeing a lot of videos from the hardcore MAGA people, basically saying, oh, we don't recognize this person anymore, or we didn't vote for this. The world has been saying for over a decade now that this orange guy is a clown, and he's going to destroy your country, and quite frankly, the rest of the world now. But all of these people that you see on the screen now, except for the guy on the bottom left, he's cool. All the ones with the red hats are the ones that are saying, oh, I don't recognize him anymore. But let's not forget, these people on the screen right now, they are responsible for what we're going through right now. Let's take a look.
Just listen to some of his biggest supporters, both then and now. Listen to what they have to say now.
I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported, you supported?
And I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president.
Look, I have not exactly found the correct words to communicate how I feel about President Donald Trump. I sort of ignore the topic of his existence altogether.
It just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right?
You buried the Epstein files. There is no border wall. You didn't deliver on mass deportations. You cut corporate tax rates for the rich by cutting Medicaid again. No infrastructure bill, no middle class tax cuts. You got to refund the tariffs. And now we're in a regime change war with Iran. That's the breaking point. I'm out.
It's funny because
Now, before JD goes into his rant, I want to give my rant first. But this is just my opinion, but does anybody else feel like these guys are not allowed to say I'm out? Because every single one of these MAGA people that we just saw are 100% responsible for what's going on right now. If it wasn't for these people, the orange guy would not be in office. I'm not even from the United States, and I'm pretty pissed off about this. Because the actions of their vote is affecting the rest of the world now.
they keep saying they don't recognize this man. This is not the president. Who else recognizes him exactly how he is? Who else is not surprised that any of this shit is happening? Who else wasn't really down to vote in a convicted felon as president? Who else has believed all the women, over 100, throughout the years? What pisses me off about these people is they will support and back and defend until he turns on you.
Now, here's one thing I'm noticing on social media when it comes to MAGA. They are only turning on him because of one thing, which is the gas prices. The gas is high for them because it personally affects them. They're not upset because of the Epstein files. They're not upset because of ICE, CBP, the tariffs around the world, the 51st state threats to Canada, and threats to Greenland and bombing Venezuela. Now, many of the MAGA people that we heard earlier are using the excuse that, yes, the Middle East war, that's their last straw. But I'm talking about the average MAGA citizen in the United States. The ones that can't think for themselves, like this guy.
So, I didn't really do much research, so I can't make comment, but I just trust Trump. Whatever Trump does, I'm going to take his word and go with it. He's the best guy on the planet.
MAGA idiots like this have no idea what's going on in the world. And in fact, a lot of them are actually supporting the bombing of Iran.
Decision to strike Iran.
It was a great decision. I think somebody else should have done it a couple of years ago, the last 3 other presidents.
Are you willing to pay higher prices at the pump if that's the cost?
Yeah, I'm willing to pay a little more, yeah.
What do you think about the war?
I think he's doing the right thing. You know, in the long run, it's going to help us out because if they get nuclear weapons, we might not even be here in a couple of years. So I think he's doing a good job.
Well, to be fair, your country might not even be here in a couple years because it's imploding on its own, and you didn't need Iran's help for that. But what I'm trying to show right now is that not all MAGA are going to turn on him. If the orange guy tells them to jump off a cliff, they'll probably jump off. But for any MAGA right now saying that they don't recognize the president, you don't get to scrub your hands free of the mess that you created. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me on this.
But it's okay if he turns on everybody else and says the most disgusting things to women and admits to doing things to women and is dangerous, not that smart. Maybe it's not a great idea to put the host of The Apprentice in charge of the free world. But eventually all of them start to backpedal, they start fighting each other. It's crumbling for you guys. But you all are the biggest reasons why this man is in office and all of this shit is happening. You defended and platformed and got all of your followers and listeners to vote MAGA. All of you.
You know, I think as the war goes on in the Middle East, we're going to hear more and more of these MAGA stories, and they're going to try to wipe their hands clean of what they caused. Now, before I get into the article on what they caused, I want to give a shout out to Richard, who emailed me this photo from Chesterman Beach in Tofino. I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but being a lifelong British Columbian and being born and raised in Vancouver, I still have never been to Tofino yet. It might have to be somewhere I go when I come back in the spring to visit family and friends. But thanks very much, Richard, for sending this over. Now, I want to read out a social media post that was sent over to me by my wife. Actually, the earlier video was also sent to me by my wife. So shout out to my wife for giving me the content for this video. Now, I'm going to read out the whole thing nonstop, and then I'll give my comments after. Now, while I'm reading this, keep this in mind. All of these actions are because of the orange idiot. But also think about why the orange idiot is there. Breaking. Iran just ordered Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE to evacuate the energy facilities. The missiles are coming. They named the freaking targets on live television. This is what 5D chess looks like when the orange guy plays it. The guy walks up to the board, threw his queen straight down the middle, and got taken by a fucking pawn. And now he's sitting there telling everyone he's winning while the board is on fire and the table is collapsing. Israel, with full US backing, bombed Iran's South Pars gas field today, the largest gas field on Earth. 70% of Iran's domestic gas supply. Shared with Qatar, all burning. And Iran's response? Cool. We're gonna blow up every refining from Riyadh to Doha. Here's the list. You got a few hours, run. Now let's talk about oil, because you're being lied to. The headlines say that Brent crude is at 103, 108. That's not the real freaking price. That's one benchmark. The actual aggregate global oil price, what people are really paying for crude right now, is sitting between 120 and 130 a barrel. That's the number they don't put in the front page because it would start a freaking panic. Iranian officials have openly said they will push oil to 200. An Iranian economics professor said 300. 3 weeks ago, it sounded insane. Today, it sounds like a freaking calendar reminder. The IEA just confirmed that this is the largest disruption in history of the global oil market. The largest, ever. Gulf production has been cut by 10 million barrels a day. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. A fifth of the world's oil used to flow through here. Used to. And here's what $200 oil means for you personally. 97% of everything you touch, eat, wear, and use involves crude oil. Your food, your medicine, your plastic, your fertilizer, your transport, your heating. Even your tomatoes from your farmer's market. Grown with petroleum fertilizer. Picked by blokes who even drove their trucks made from crude oil. Delivered on diesel, wrapped in petroleum packaging. That little sticker on the tomato, petroleum. When oil doubles, everything doubles. When it triples, civilization will start to wobble. This isn't a recession, this is a freaking seizure. You know what caused the Great Depression? Tariffs, stock markets at all-time high, reckless speculation. Sound familiar? We've got all of that. Plus an oil crisis that 1929 didn't have. This is the Great Depression with a turbocharged bolted to it. And the slow motion part is what kills you. This is one of those disaster movies where you can see the shockwave rolling outwards in slow motion, glass shattering, faces changing from confusion to terror. Everything is stretched out in the surreal, horrible, beautiful slow motion movement. That's right now. On every trading floor, every petrol station, every supermarket supply chain on Earth, this shockwave is moving, you just can't see it, and nobody can stop it. Today alone, Israel assassinated Iran's intelligence minister, third senior official in 2 days. Iran fired multiple warhead missiles and cluster munitions at Tel Aviv. 2 dead. The I don't know how to pronounce that, nuclear plant took a hit. Dubai airport got hit. The Australian base in the UAE got hit. Expats are fleeing Dubai on 250,000 private jets and abandoning their dogs in the freaking streets. Okay, I'm not cool with that. Your pet is your family. There's no way in hell I would leave my co-host behind. Iran has spent 25 years digging tunnels, building underground drone factories, hiding missile launchers in caves along the entire coastline. America is dropping 5,000-pound bunker busters, and Iran is still firing hundreds of drones and missiles every single day. You're not winning. You're punching a hornet's nest and bragging that the nest has a dent in it. Meanwhile, the feds meet today and they're completely fucked. Can't cut rates because inflation is about to go nuclear. Can't raise rates because the economy is already cracking. Gold is at $5,000 an ounce. American petrol prices have jumped 86 cents in 18 days. That's not a spike, that's a vertical fucking line. And we're only on day 19. This is what happens when 77 million people look at a convicted felon an adjudicated, I'm not going to say the word, a twice impeached insurrectionist who hid classified documents next to the shitter and say, yeah, give him the nuclear codes. What's the worst that could happen? This is the worst that could happen. The orange guy didn't play 5D chess. He didn't even play checkers. He walked into the room, knocked the board off the table, shat on the floor, and declared victory. And now 8 billion people who never got a vote are going to have to pay for it at the petrol pump, at the supermarket, in their heating bills, and in their freaking retirement savings. The wheels of disaster grind slowly. The bombs make the news, but the economics makes the history books. $200 oil doesn't kill you in a fireball. It kills you at the checkout. Buckle the F up. Now this is probably as raw as it can get when it comes to the real life facts. I mean, you're not going to hear this from the news. But there's 2 points I want to bring up. Everything in this post, everything we're going through, all of the bombs that are dropping, is because of this. The 77 million people who voted him in. Okay, hey. The world is in a situation that was completely avoidable. But unfortunately, the 77 million people decided to think for themselves only. And going back to the beginning of the video where they showed these MAGA fools, except for the guy in the bottom left, he's cool. They are trying to clean their hands from the mess that they created. And in my opinion, you are just as guilty as the orange guy making his decisions. And now the second point I want to talk about, and I'm going to read it out again. And now 8 billion people who never get a vote are going to have to pay for it at the petrol pump, at the supermarket, in their heating bills, and their fucking retirement savings. This is talking to us in Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Asia, everywhere else. We didn't get to vote in the US election. We didn't have a choice. But yet we still have to pay the consequences. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know lately I've been having problems when it comes to the United States citizens, even on the left. Someone in the Discord server actually said to call them the Blue MAGA, which is pretty funny if you ask me. But I keep getting emails from the Blue MAGA saying, you're not even in the United States. You don't have it worse than we do. We're on the front lines. So why don't you come to the US and protest with us? Well, number one, I'm not crossing the border for you. I'm not going to put myself at risk. And number two, instead of asking everybody else outside of the United States to protest with you, why don't you ask your fellow citizens to protest? You know, the ones that really don't care. The ones that are just kind of going day by day and in their own little bubble, not giving a shit about what's going on right now. You know, the ones that say, like, I don't talk about politics. Or the ones that say, no, my life is fine right now. Nothing is affecting me yet. Those are your fellow US citizens that you want to nudge on the shoulder and say, hey, you might want to wake up a little bit and, you know, maybe pay attention. Because the rest of the world has to take care of themselves. Because no matter what you think, we are affected just as much as you. And when I say we, I mean the rest of the world. We're all looking at you right now. Now, going back to this photo one more time. Every one of these people in that stupid red hat is responsible for everything that's going on in the world right now. And that post that I just read out explained it perfectly. But as the weeks and months go by, we are going to hear more MAGA saying, hey, I didn't vote for this, and probably asking for forgiveness. My answer to that? No, you're not forgiven at all. In my books, you'll be forever known as one of these people who fucked up the world. Alright, that's all I got for this video. And I do apologize if I went a little bit overboard on venting. But I'm just had it. I'm pretty sure everybody else feels the same. If you found any value in anything I said, or you agree with anything I said, and you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective, without the US media bias, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below. That way you're notified of my future videos. And if you want to see more of my videos or hear more of my cat, check out the videos that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone. I'll catch you in the next one.